What you learn to practice with the small things will actually shape what you do with the big things. In other words, the time you spend trusting God in the small moments, in the little problems, and with the little things of everyday life, the more you will trust Him when the storms hit, when things get hard, and when life feels like it's crashing down around you. Psalm 33, verse 20 to 21 say, "Our soul waits for the Lord. He is our help and our shield, for our heart is glad in Him because we trust in His holy name." Trust usually isn't something that's built overnight. It's acquired through constant interaction with someone. It's built from learning and seeing the character of someone and the behavior of someone, from seeing how they live, how they do things, and how they value you. And when you are able to build that trust in someone, when you start to get close to them, your heart starts to become glad because of who they are. Not only who they are in general, though that is a blessing, but also who they are to you. The same is true with Jesus. When we learn to build that trust in Him, when we learn His character and who He is, both to you and in general, your heart will become glad in Him. This trust is built over time, and God knows that. And He also gives us every opportunity to see who He is, to see how good He is, and to see that He is trustworthy. And it all starts with the small things. When we learn to be grateful for the little things in life, for the little gifts that He gives us every day, and the little things in life, the daily things that we can learn to trust in Him for, we will learn to grow that trust in Him and truly believe in Him when the hard times hit. Our soul will learn to wait on Him. And maybe for you, that's learning to let God show you how to process a certain situation, or to give you the words to help a family member who's going through a hard time. Maybe it's Him showing you how to help a friend in need. Or maybe it's Him showing you how to trust in Him for the little things in life that we often take for granted, like the breath in our lungs, the roof over our heads, and even the food in our stomachs. And even for waking up this morning and getting another beautiful day in life. There are countless little things in our lives, little details that only Him and you know, that we can learn to trust in Him for and learn His character through. Psalm 56, verses 3 to 4 say, "When I am afraid, I put my trust in you. In God, whose word I praise, in God I trust. I shall not be afraid. What can flesh do to me?" When we learn to trust in God for the small things in life, it doesn't mean that the big or difficult things are going to be easy, that we will have all of the right answers or make all of the right choices. But we will learn that we can trust God no matter what the circumstances around us are trying to say. No matter how bad the things around us look, when we know the character of Jesus, we know that there's nothing we can face that He cannot overcome. There's nothing that He can't bring good out of. And we know that there isn't anything or anyone that He can't fix or redeem, because that's just who He is. If we can't even learn to trust God in the small things in life, then it's going to be very difficult to trust Him in the hard times, in the trials, tribulations, and difficult seasons. So we need to make that time to spend with Him, to let Him show you who He is and His character, to let Him show you just how much He values you and cares about you. Part of the Christian life is learning to enjoy the blessings He's placed in our life, to walk in His joy and in His peace, knowing the good plans and purposes that God has for you and your life, and walking in the fruit of these things. But it all starts with opening up our hearts to Him and pouring out our hearts to Him, and letting Him walk with us so we can learn to build our trust in Him. Matthew 6, verses 19 to 21 say, "Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will also be." In life, we tend to accumulate or try to accumulate many things. Maybe it's money, maybe it's friends, cars, collections, fame, pleasures. Maybe it's positions in work, organizations, and government. and so on. And I'm not saying that in and of themselves, any of these things are wrong or sinful, but when we start to become consumed in them, it is. When they are the treasures of our heart, when they are what we spend our lives chasing after, and we pour our every effort into, then it's become a problem. And that's just what I want to get at. It can become so easy in our lives to pour our trust into all of these worldly things. And once again, I'm not saying that any of these things are wrong in and of themselves, but when they become the fortress that we trust in, when they become the things that we build our lives on top of, and when they are the things that we learn to wholly depend on, then it's a problem. Because we have learned to look to the things or the creation instead of the Creator. We have learned to consume our hearts with them instead of with God. And when these things become our treasures, they will become what our heart starts to chase after. Instead of these things, which will eventually fail us if we are leaning on them, we need to learn to put our trust in God. We need to spend time with Him and learn to let Him show us how to lean on Him instead, how to depend on Him, and how to follow Him in life. When we learn to place our trust in Jesus, instead of these things that we once used to lean on so heavily, whether we knew it or not, and that may also include leaning on yourself, then our hearts will start to follow Him. Our hearts will start to be consumed with Him, and we will start to walk in the relationship with Him that we were made to have. So wherever you are in life, ask God to show you the things that you have been consumed with. Ask Him to show you or highlight the areas that you haven't fully surrendered your trust to Him in. And start to spend time walking with Him, praying with Him, time in the Bible. Spend time with Him in the little things in life, the things He's placed in your life for you to enjoy. Let Him show you who He truly is. Let Him show you His love for you, the joys He has for you in life, and let Him show you how to start to put your trust in Him.